Mr. Eldred, many thanks for your time this morning. Maybe just give us a broad sense of the current state of affairs in our policing and security systems in South Africa before we get into the nitty-gritties of what we anticipate the Finance Minister will address in this regard.
Indeed, we have a police that is functionally effective. In other words, they're plodding along, they're doing what they necessarily need to do, and that the members are going to work and doing their job despite the odds. So it is important that when we're going forward, we understand that more is not necessarily better, that supporting the current crop of members to ensure that they're healthy, that they are well trained, that they're competent, and that they are well and properly positioned. And this is a project that the former Minister of Police, Minister Mumbalula, started when he was on his fit for purpose, fit for task type exercise. So when we consider what do we want from policing, ensure first and foremost that we're supporting the current institution well, that the members within the institution are being utilized properly, and that they are in the right positions, and that we exercise leadership to ensure that we instill confidence in the police and in trust in the institution.
Right. Now, one of the big things which I just mentioned in my intro, Mr. de Klerk, is the fact that President Cyril Ramaphosa did speak about increasing capacity for SAPS by about 12,000 members. And you saying more is not necessarily great, but surely this does help with the burden that they face in dealing with a lot of what's happening in the country.
Sure, but we need to offset that 12,000 members against natural attrition over the last 3 or 4 years. Every institution loses people because they go on retirement, they go off sick, they find other forms of employment, they go into other opportunities. And where that 12,000 members need to actually make a difference is to ensure that routine policing delivered by constables, sergeants and warrant officers, that they are the people who are bolstered and that we augment them, which means they need capable leadership, right? So 12,000, we don't know what the ratio of natural attrition is and whether this is an additional 12,000 or we're just filling vacancies for the moment.
You raise an important point around leadership with the SAPS as an example, and many have criticized it for a number of reasons. Your analysis of the current leadership and how it should be structured, but also the fact that budgeting and giving money doesn't necessarily help in terms of running the operations from the top to the bottom.
Absolutely, and we have to distinguish between those who manage the institution, in otherwise its systems, its structures, its operations, and those who actually command. And we need to strengthen the command, and the Marikana Commission has very clearly pointed that the police command needs to be structured and augmented to make sure that commanders are properly supporting, leading and taking political and legal responsibility for what their members do. And then on the other hand, we need a system within the police and a structure that is lean, that is both efficient and effective. And effective is that people feel and are secure and safe. The police currently are top-heavy. We have too many managers in the police and not enough leaders and commanders. So again, it's a project that has now outlived 3 different ministers, from Minister de Klerk, Minister Mbalula, Mr. Bekele, and that is that we were trying to not just restructure the police in terms of where are all these generals and brigadiers, are they actually the ones doing the routine policing? Are they the ones who's picking up the phones? Because we would assume that they have the necessary experience, that they can give the necessary guidance and mentorship, and they can help officers grow in their position. So when we look at spend around critical skills areas like DNA and fingerprinting and forensics, we need to ensure that the police officers employed there are not caught up in the rat race to get a higher rank, because that takes them away from their critical position as a forensic sciences or as a fingerprint specialist. They need to be rewarded and remunerated for the job that they're doing. So this confusion of rank and role, this is where the unions and the members themselves are better placed to fight that idea that everybody has to go into management rather than stick in with the job that they enjoy doing, that they're good at doing, and that
efficiently.
Yeah, and well, effectively more so, and that it basically contributes better to the success of the institution.
No, brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Eldred de Klerk, there, policing specialist, joining us just to talk through some of the issues within our policing systems and really just some of the ways in which they could be dealt with, indicating that you don't necessarily need to throw money at the problem. You need to improve upon and restructure the status quo, Dumela.